Good afternoon. We'll let the stragglers get settled, and we'll get going here. So today our topic is measuring your organization's sales intelligence, getting more with less. But before we get too deep into what that might mean, I thought we'd get through a little housekeeping, much like Mark Benioff did. This must be a standard Salesforce disclaimer that we have to go through the same thing. But I don't think we're going to tell you anything too outrageous that's not already happening. So this will just go through, and we can email copies of this presentation to anyone that wants to get it. So by way of introduction, and I guess I'd start with saying we've had a couple changes, and I'll cover those now. But has anybody ever gone to a play and the stars of the play don't perform that night and you see a bunch of understudies? We have a bit of that going on today. And I'll start that by saying that I am Tom McSweeney with Sales Genie. I've been with Sales Genie for 5.5 years. One of our speakers will speak about infoUsas, Info Group. That's our parent company. But Sales Genie has been around for about 5.5 years. We have 20,000 subscribers, and we've been an App Exchange partner for over a year. We spoke here a year ago to a much less crowded room. I think we only had 18 people in when we kicked off our exchange, so business has been really good, and the success as a partner with Salesforce has been phenomenal. So I'd like to introduce the panel, and what we're going to try to do today as we walk through sales intelligence is give you an idea of what we mean by sales intelligence, let you know what our product does to answer how companies use our sales intelligence, and then drill down with some particular customers to show how they've used our information and our data to help grow their sales. So with me today, and he'll be speaking after me, would be Brooke Hoy, who's our Director of Product Development, Bridget Kelly, who is our sales engineer, who's really our key contact between Salesforce and our customers. And then this is where the understudies start to come in. William Stanton, who has been one of our long-time customers with Liberty Insurance, had a death in his family, and it happened on Sunday, and we weren't able to get a backup. So substituting for William will be Drew Armstrong. Drew actually works for Sales Genie. He's the account manager on that account, and he knows the account in depth. So we thought that the content that Bill had was just too important to leave out. And also joining us today from AT&T is Sarah Faddis, who just joined us. Just went live with Sales Genie, I think in July, with about 400 plus licenses. So we'll hear a little from her. So I guess I start to say, what is the definition of sales intelligence? And our friends at Aberdeen did a pretty good write-up. And what I take from this slide is how we take various sources of information to improve performance. So like anything else, what we're trying to say is how we can get more data, enrich that data, and make it easier for your salespeople to find targeted companies, move them through the pipeline, and sell more. What are the sources? According to Aberdeen, key company contact and targeted information on companies are the key things that salespeople look for to make their prospecting much more efficient. This slide kind of alarmed me, and I wanted to help frame the amounts of data. So our company has data on 14 million companies and over 220 million consumers. The fact that the CMO study shows that in the next 5 years, the amount of data that's available is going to more than double. Some may think that's a good thing, but if you can't get to the data and use it, the data just becomes more difficult to define and to use it to target the type of customers you may be going after. Kevin Kelly from Wired Magazine says the internet is one big copy machine, that all the data that's out there just gets copied over and over, which again sometimes can be good, but sometimes it makes the access to find the data you need tougher and tougher. So we use the analogy, if it's tough to find a needle in the haystack today and data is going to double, how tough it's going to be to find that needle in the haystack tomorrow. So our analogy is not the needle in the haystack, but finding that right customer that fits the kind of companies that you want to go after to sell. So what's better than free? If data is going to be that voluminous and that abundant and that easy to get to, but you can't have immediacy, it's not personalized, it's tough to get to, it does you no good. So what our mission is to see how we can get that data to you either through a mobile device or your PC, anytime you want to use it 24/7. So finding that data, using that data, and having access to it is what we think the key is. So we think the fact that there's going to be more data than ever out there is going to play into our hand that to find the type of data you need is going to be more and more important. So I thought before we kind of turn to the next phase of the presentation, it's from CFO Magazine, another quote that when there's that much data out there, that there's going to be less and less ways to spend money. So every project that you ever get into has to have a defined ROI. And one of the things that we think, and you'll hear it from our panel today, is to try to marry the amount of data you have and the type of solutions you want to put in your salespeople's hands to make them more efficient to get to that data. So with that, I would like to turn over to Brooke Hoy, who's in charge of our product development. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you, Tom. I don't need the pointer. I'm going to take that home with me. Just kidding. Thanks, guys, for coming out. I know you got a lot of sessions to choose from, and you chose us. That's really cool. So thank you. My name is Brooke Hoy. I'm the Director of Product Development with InfoUSA. I'm fighting the early stages of a cold, so I promise I won't come too close to you, and I promise it's not swine flu. So if you see me chugging water, that's why. I've been with InfoUSA for 11 years. In those 11 years, I've wore many different hats. I started off in sales. I moved quickly into our e-commerce division, was a business analyst, moved over to being a developer for a couple of years, and then natural progression was to get into product development. InfoUSA, by the way, Sales Genie is part of InfoUSA. For those of you who don't know anything about InfoUSA, InfoUSA was founded in 1972 and is the largest compiler of business and consumer data in the United States. We have a business database consisting of around 18 million records and a consumer database consisting of 220 million consumers. All of that information is compiled in Omaha. We actually call our businesses once a year, and we update all of our data weekly and monthly on all of our applications. Now, Tom talked about the fact that there's all this information out there, and how do you harness all of this information that you see. And what we've done within salesgenie.com is we actually harness all of that data. Salesgenie.com is a lead generation and prospecting tool for sales professionals. Who uses Sales Genie? Small business owners, real estate agents, mortgage agents, staffing agencies, anybody who's looking for targeted sales leads is using Sales Genie. Sales Genie consists of 6 comprehensive databases, and I know that's kind of a small slide. I don't know if you can see them all. We have our business database, our consumer database. We have a new business database, which all the new businesses that start up within the United States, we have daily and weekly feeds of those businesses. We have our consumer database, new homeowners, and our new business database. All of that is within Sales Genie. We have a new lead service, which is really kind of cool for salespeople. You can actually go through and segment any of the data that you see up there. By the way, of those 6 databases, you can slice and dice all of those. If you're looking for ice distributors in Alaska that have less than $1 million in revenue, we got it. If you're looking for tech companies in the Silicon Valley with revenue over $1 million and employees under 10, we got it. And within our new lead alert service, you can actually go through and say, you know what, send me all the new tech companies within the Silicon Valley. Whenever they pop up, whenever you guys get them in your database, send them to me, and we'll push that data out to you. In today's world, nobody really wants to go out and pull information. We don't have time for that. I know I don't have time for that. Our new lead alert service actually pushes that data to you, which is really kind of cool. So you know as a salesperson how handy that would be. You can actually beat the competition. Our application, all of our business records, all of our consumer records include a Latin long. So we plot everything on Google Maps. Who's actually used Google Maps in this room? I think pretty much everybody has. Those guys have set the standard on mapping. So why go out and try to create a mapping service when we can utilize a great partner with Google? So we actually map all of our data on Google. So now you can actually search through Google to find those leads. You can actually display those leads on Google Maps. And within the map, it's kind of cool. We'll plot the record, and we'll give you a little bubble, and it pops open and tells you a little bit more about that company, who the contacts are, what the phone number is, what their line of business is. Really slick stuff. Customer profiler. How many are actively trying to find their best customers out there? It's kind of hard to do. A lot of them wish they could have a tool that could do it for them. Our customer analyzer, customer profiler, you can actually upload 200 of your best customers to Sales Genie. What we'll do is we have a matching algorithm that finds common characteristics about those businesses. If you're at the keynote this morning, you heard him talk about Genius and how iTunes has that. That's kind of our Genius that we have. What it's going to do, it's going to grab similar prospects throughout the United States and give them back to you. So it's going to grab all those consumers, all those businesses, and give them back to you and say, hey, you're looking for businesses or consumers just like that. Here you go. You got them all throughout the United States. Mobile access. Within Genie, we give you a quick look up and find application. And you're probably going, wow, big deal, everybody has that. If you have an iPhone, I think there's like 30 or 40 different of those apps out there, which is true. But do they tell you who the owners of the business are, all of the contacts at that business, what they do, their SIC codes, their employee size, their sales volume, their hours of operation? All that information can be brought up through your mobile device right in front of the business, which is really kind of cool. You can actually use our in-depth business profile. A lot of our sales reps actually use this to actually do all of their prospecting and telephone calls from. All of the contacts at the business will be listed. And that example actually is Salesforce here in San Francisco, which is kind of tiny, but trust me, it is. All the additional contacts will be there. We're talking all the executives, anybody in HR, anybody in legal. We have that. Google Maps example. As you can see, there's a nice little bubble that gives you a brief description about it. Business expense models. We actually go out and model how much companies are spending on things like insurance, advertising and promotion, legal, office supplies. All that can be found. Hours of operation, a company description. What do these guys do? What's their business? And a company photo. From this page, a lot of our sales reps actually go through, do all of their prospecting, do their phone calls, do their qualifying from this page. If everything looks good, I select it, say, you know what? The great thing about this, transfer over to Salesforce. Everything that you see here is an integrated app with Salesforce and is on the App Exchange. We've been a member of the App Exchange since July 2009. Easy install. All of Sales Genie can be within one tab in your Salesforce. It's an integrated lead generation and sales cycle management tool. So just think of the time that your reps are going to save, or your sales professionals, not having to go to different applications to prospect and then move it into a CRM. One single user interface means one username and password. I've probably got about 3 to 4 different username and passwords, and I can technically only remember about 2. With this, you only have to remember what the heck your Salesforce username and password is, and then you're going to log right in and will be a part of your Salesforce instance. So as you can see, everything within the sales lifecycle is all within one tool. Your ability to go through, segment, qualify those leads, and move them over into Salesforce. Everything's mapped over there, too. I know right now if you're going to create a lead within Salesforce, you've probably got, I think, 18 fields that you have to enter in there. When you transfer from Sales Genie, you just click one button. We do all that work for you. We move everything right into your lead tab within Salesforce, which is really kind of cool. It's a cost-effective and time-saving solution, which is somewhat critical now because sales reps are really challenged right now with their time management between qualifying new leads and effectively managing their existing customer base. All of that can be done within one application. So with that, I'm going to transition over to Drew, who is one of our stand-up guys here. Drew is actually in charge of our relationship with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, which is one of our large enterprise customers that are actually using this application. So Drew's going to kind of tell you a little bit about how they use it and what they do. Thanks Drew.
I'll take that pointer.
Oh, that's right.
Laser on. There we go.
Thanks, Brooke.
Right.
Oh, sorry, did I?
No, that's okay.
Skip?
No, I'm going to work with you on this one, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to go through it together.
I'm going rogue on you like Sarah Palin. I apologize.
She's fine. No worries. So, as Tom mentioned, we kind of started high level of what is sales intelligence. Brooke went into how does Sales Genie help with sales intelligence. Now we're finally into the case study of a specific example customer and how they decided upon Sales Genie. So, Drew, if you want to give us a little bit of a background.
A little bit of a background. I'm Drew Armstrong. I'm the director of our insurance vertical. I've been with the company 10.5 years, the last 5.5 with SalesGenie.com. Currently work personally with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. Bill Stanton was supposed to be our keynote. He's been with the company over 15 years. He's now currently the national sales director. And when we first came to me, he had a ton of business problems that he wanted to hurdle on. So I'll give you a brief background of Liberty Mutual. They're the #1 sponsored auto and home insurance program in the country, $94.2 billion in consolidated assets, and they ranked 86th on the Fortune 500 list of U.S. companies. 8 largest personal lines of writers in the U.S. based on the 2008 direct written premium, and they're the leading private provider of workers' compensation, general liability, and commercial auto business property, and international insurance products and services. On their personal lines, they have over 11,000 clients, including corporations, associations, groups, and credit unions. On their stats, 83% of their personal insurance new business comes from affinity groups. And their major market providers are the auto, home, life, and personal liability. They operate over 400 offices throughout the United States. From that, they have 1,300 licensed sales representatives, 1,900 licensed service representatives, 1,000 active P&C agents, and then also some of the Mutual of Omaha agents as well.
Drew, thanks for that background. And if I slip and call you Bill, I apologize.
Bill wouldn't mind.
Right? So if you could expand on some of the business challenges you mentioned. Bill came to you before he had the solution in place with Sales Genie. What were some of the business problems he was having?
You bet. Good question. Based on the last slide, you saw how many employees they have. So obviously they're going to have a ton of different challenges. Their main challenge Bill brought to me was managing territory conflict. Currently, prior to us, what they would do is they'd have 1,300 reps in a specific area. They would all be marketing the same leads. Or a good case study on this one would be, he came to me once and he had a group marketing door-to-door, knocking on doors. And the first 10 people they went into said, you just missed your other group by 10 minutes. So there were 2 different sales groups going out, marketing to the same line of businesses, and the second group looked super stupid. So that was a huge, huge business challenge. Another challenge was when you do that and you're a new rep, after about the 3rd time someone says, hey, your other buddies were just in here, next thing you're going to do is look for a job. So turnover of new account representatives is huge. Why spend the time and money to train new if they're going to see that you guys have no direction in sales? They're going to leave the company. The next one is supporting market penetration strategies, tracking sales success, and also to minimize administration and training costs. They were very high.
Okay. Drill down a little bit more now.
To drill down on that, to manage the territory conflict, what Sales Genie does is gives them the ability to search their leads by zip code, a radius around an office or location, so that eliminates the same salespeople going into the same companies. Another strategy on here is to provide a verified metrics on prospects. Through the Sales Genie application, you can zero in by number of employees, sales volume, what type of business they are, SIC code, there's about 32 different selections that they could choose from to narrow down their prospects. And the biggest one here is to verify location of offices. So if I have an office at 123 XYZ Street, I can narrow down all the businesses within my target within like a 1, 2, 3 mile radius. So you can narrow and keep your territories pretty tight. And what this did is eliminate 100% of the divisional conflict within the organization. Now, a good result of this is the turnover on new account representatives based on 2008 had a 5% reduction. So just by creating a direction for these guys to follow, it has decreased the new ramp time of new representatives from business to business and business to consumer leads. And like I said, the 5% reduction is saving Liberty Mutual a ton of money.
So Drew, would it be safe to say then, if we think back on Tom's slides about going after the right audience and targeting the right people, not only is that going to bring in the right business for Liberty Mutual, but as we can see here, Bill has put in that it's helping him keep people around, right? So it's not only helping his, I guess, his bottom line, but his top line as well, because he's not losing people at the same
Correct.
time.
Correct. Okay, right here, Bill has the support for major or market strategies. One item he likes to do is lifestyle modeling for his consumer leads. What Sales Genie allows him to do is to do a deep dive and specifically identify what types of people he wants to market to. So whether it's homeowners with certain income levels, certain house values, does the homeowner have children? If so, what age range? That is a key market information for him to narrow down to get his best prospects. What Sales Genie does is provides this information to match your current clients. So you want to pull prospects that match who you currently have policies with. Their local strategies demonstrate success. They establish local campaigns for nearby offices. Like I said before, if they have an office at this address, they want to do a radius around that office so you're getting people within your general neighborhoods. Target lifestyles that align with their group accounts. So they pick by certain ages, incomes, and house values, like I said before. And the life events of prospect tailored to a specific product. One key thing on this, and we pull birth certificates, we have death certificates, so our information is constantly updated. We found out in the insurance industry, people buy insurance not because they want to, it's because of a life-changing event, whether it's a birth, a death, a marriage, a divorce.
Okay. Andrew, is there a specific driving catalyst as to why Liberty and Bill decided to join with Sales Genie in addition to the great data that they're getting?
Most reason why Bill went with us is before, during, and after the sales process, we provide one-on-one training. We also come and visit clients. So based on Bill's information here, we've done over 100 webinars to date with the local and national offices. We've also had 12 area management meetings where we'll go on staff with our customer service team, find out our best practices, what's working, what's not working, are there any improvements, would you like us to add any information to the product. So all of our clients get a dedicated staff, such as Liberty Mutual, for troubleshooting, system issues, and anything concerned with the Salesforce integration. Lessons learned here, Bill wants me to let you guys know that the reason why he went with us is we do offer the face-to-face training, and he believes people learn more and retain more by a face-to-face meeting rather than sitting on a webinar and doing 9 other things behind the scene. And what this does as well, it increases the level of usage. Sales Genie is like a gym membership. If you're not actually at the gym using it, it's not going to benefit you. Right here is tracking sales success. With the integration into Salesforce, Liberty Mutual's been on there for 6 months now. Salesforce allows them, with access to Sales Genie, it allows them to deliver their leads directly into Salesforce without spending time manually uploading all their information. What that does saves them time and money, and then also provides an awesome tracking system so they can see for the new and the existing agents where they've been, where they need to go, and then from that the best practices on who to market to in the future. It allows the users to easily target their customers.
Pardon me, sorry.
And also avoids trampling over segments and sales staff. That's when you have the same sales teams going to the same businesses constantly. Next slide.
Next one, go ahead.
Additional benefits, like before, we provide support from end-to-end sales process. We provide detailed information on businesses and consumers through our profile reports that Brooke showed in his slides, and it eliminates much of the back and forth collection of information for underwriting process. So all in all, this has saved Bill a ton of time, a ton of money, and he does regret for not being here.
Good deal. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
And now we're going to turn over to Sarah. And thank you again, Sarah, for joining us today. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about your role at AT&T?
My role with AT&T is really the liaison between our data group that goes out and gets all of our contracts for, as you said, there's multiple places out there to get data right now. A lot of the sources are even free. And what I do, or my team really plays a role in, is how do we get that out to sales, how do they use it, and how do we help them use it?
Great, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about what life was like for you and your team as far as getting that data before you found a solution like Sales Genie to get data?
One of the things that we really found with our premise sales group, which is a sales group that actually goes in person to see all of our customers versus people that call on the telephone, was that they didn't like the tools that we had. It was very basic. We had what was called a homegrown system that we built with our own IT group internally. The problem is we have a very integrated project management group that prioritizes everything. So unfortunately, anytime we've come up with new ideas or wanted to make changes, it took quite a bit of time to kind of get that out. Even if it was just a new data field, we added size of the business, customer spend, things like that. Again, we had to purchase the data, then we had to spend a lot of time to create it ourselves, and then we had to wait for a long time for the IT to kind of get it rolled out for the sales groups to use. We knew this wasn't something we could continue to move forward with because we were spending a lot of money on data that, to be honest, in the end, the sales teams weren't even using because they had to spend so much time on searching through a tool that wasn't really efficient, so they were really just doing prospecting on their own.
Good deal. And I think you had talked a lot, too, about the data not being the same across the board. So a company might read incorporated in one place but not in another. So we're maybe going after the same company, not knowing.
Yeah, we did have a lot of multiple contacts by sales to the same customer. And it even got to the point to where, since there was no system, we didn't have any kind of pipeline management prior to us integrating with Salesforce.com. We had so many customers that would get entered in the system multiple times, and we'd had to wait till it got all the way to the QC process until we'd realize it was the same customer and kick it back, and then we'd have to inform the sales rep and let them know that, hey, you know, we already have this customer online. And a lot of that, we did have some business rules for our address standardization, but because we didn't have really a standardized address, it was just kind of a physical look in the system by the rep, they wouldn't match it as being the same customer. So that's where we're really using the address standardization to kind of come in and catch those issues up front, as well as now with our integration with Salesforce.com. If a rep tries to import a lead that's already one of our existing customers, even before they even contact the customer, it'll kick it out and let them know right then and there that this is already an existing customer and that they can move on to the next lead.
Perfect, yeah. So could you talk to us a little bit about what you're most excited to give to your field sales team when it comes to Sales Genie? What's the biggest winning factor for you?
We did a trial originally back in April, and I think the biggest thing was really the response from sales. The sales team just really loved using the tool. Again, before the tool we had, they couldn't really have much search functionality. This one really gives everything at their fingertips. And our premise sales groups, they work Monday through Friday, but most of them spend their Sunday, or their entire Sunday prepping for their phone calls that they make on Monday to establish all their appointments for the rest of the week. They would spend hours and hours just on search engines trying to find all the data and find all their leads again because they didn't use the tools that we had. So everything for them was prospecting. So when we introduced these tools, they could really go in, had multiple filter features that they could use, size of business, revenue, anything that they were looking for, or even from the management perspective, if there was a specific area we wanted them to focus on, we could create kind of customized reports prior to that. So if they didn't want to use the filters and they just wanted something that was already there for them, they could just click on the report and get it immediately. That was probably the biggest thing that we got a response back from sales, was they just loved having all the data at their fingertips and that they didn't have to spend hours and hours searching on Google and Yahoo on, even like, I think somebody touched on it already, was even just a description of what the business was. I mean, some of the places you don't even know what they do. So that was one of them. And then the biggest feature that we had, I think, was probably our best success story we've had, was a sales rep that spent a lot of time putting a preparation together for a plumbing contractor she was going out to meet. She got there in person, and the contractor had canceled on her. He couldn't meet with her. So at the last minute, she pulled up the mapping feature that's available on Sales Genie and did the closest businesses in the same field. Went to that business, walked in, the business owner had time to sit down right away with her. She already had a prep package ready to go, and she was able to close the deal right there.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, cool. And Sarah, without disclosing any specific dollar amounts, can you speak to a return on investment at this point?
Yes, when we originally did the trial, it was very difficult, I'm sure, as you guys have seen too. When you kind of analyze any kind of trial that you do, it's very difficult to put in a controlled environment to really tell, which variables really worked and didn't. So what we used was, again, when we purchased lead data, we're really looking for new sales. So we just analyzed from about 3 months average sales to the month that they were on the trial. Some of the reps didn't want to use it. A lot of the reps that were the older reps were kind of set in their ways. They said up front, it's a great tool, but I already have my methods, thank you. The ones that did actually use it, we saw anywhere from 12 to 15% growth in that 1 month that they were on it for new sales.
That's great. Great success story. Thank you. Kind of covered that. So kind of as a summary slide here, wanted to bring it all together from Tom, from Brooke, and then from our two panelists. I think it's safe to say that the numbers game, or the idea of getting together as many leads as I can and just, hard calling all of them or blast out emailing to all of them or blast mailing is really a thing of the past. There's much more value now in finding the right customers and targeting the right customers. Your examples are great, Sarah. They really speak to that. As Tom pointed out, Aberdeen Group, points out and says, sales intelligence is really enriching that sales pipeline with quality sales leads. Therefore, I'm giving my salespeople the best tools to go out and close more deals. And with Sales Genie, we're really proud to be a partner with a great company like Salesforce.com, because not only are we giving you, our best data, but then we're able to use and leverage the tools that are provided from Salesforce.com as far as the pipeline management, the opportunity management, the true CRM features themselves. So that was kind of, in the end, bringing it all together for us here. We do want to mention we have a special offer going on. So we are in booth 916. We would like to give away some extra free leads and a 30-day trial for you guys to kind of hold us to our word here, test out our product. So if you come visit by our booth, we'll be happy to set that up with you individually and even go over a demo with you personally. I think that's it.
Well, we have time, and we've got a mic here if anybody would like to stay to meet some of our sales professionals that are in the room, or talk to some of our clients, or go through any Q&A here, and we're glad to stay around and take specific questions too. So, any questions for the group? Good. Well, thanks for attending, and we'll be around for the rest of the session, and stop by our booth to take advantage of our promotion. Thank you.